All right, so it is April 12th, 2018, and I'm out here in front of my mom's house in Oroville, California. I'm gonna do this is gonna be for my art stuff. So I've been making some video blogs, but this is kind of part of it. Maybe I should talk. So I got a piece of paper here. This is a love poem. I'm actually working my paint on my poetry book. But I wanted to talk about, I have some canvases that I'm gonna go over and discuss what they are. So the first one I'm gonna paint over just to, because I'm working on my canvases before I go to the Bay Area so that they can be ready for me when I work on them or whatever, traveling. So some of these are just the ones I don't want to throw away. I painted over a few of them already. So if you get a chance, go look at my art on my website, DanielVeraArt.com. So the first one that I'm going to paint on is Spawn, right? So Spawn, if you know from the comic books, is he was a hitman that killed people for a living for the government, black ops stuff, and then he ended up dying for some reason. I don't know. I didn't really read all the comic books, but that's kind of, I read it first in the first couple, and so when Image came out, he was really popular because Todd McFarlane was famous for Spider-Man. Really great artist, really innovative and all that stuff. So Spawn, this was my first drawing and painting of Spawn or anything that I did of Spawn, just because like I said, Image was popular, and I was like, oh, well, what if I paint one of the characters? So that's this guy right there. He's kind of a good guy, bad guy. I don't know. If you can look him up on your own, and then kind of gauge whatever the character. What do you think about the character? I never really cared for the character too much. When I watched the movie, when the movie came out, I went with a group of friends, like my brothers and his friends and everyone, and then we took like a whole row up almost. There was a bunch of us, and then I had a girlfriend, Sarah, my son's mom at the time, and then I got in a fight with some dude because she and he were flirting. They were sitting next to each other, and I don't know. I got jealous, and so the guy was like, first time I really did, one of the only times I've ever fought anybody for any reason, that I provoked it at the end of the show. I was like, punch this dude, or I stared him down, and like he didn't back down, so then I pushed his hat down, and then we started boxing, and then I had chanclas on, and so we ended up in the middle of the aisle, and I was throwing some blows, and he was throwing some blows, but I didn't quite get him as much as I want. He was a tall guy, a big guy from Paradise, I guess. Him and like, okay, so anyway, so I fought the dude, fight punching, no one really landed any good blows. I didn't get any, and then he picked me up, and then I got him in a headlock and choked. I was like in the air, and I'm like grabbing him, and I was choking him, and he was like spinning me around, and ridiculous if I probably saw it, but it was dark and shit, so I don't know. It was like his friends were still there. I don't know what was going on, but me and him were fighting, and then I was choking him, and then he was spinning me around, and then I was like choking him my hardest, and I was like fuck, and the guy wasn't going out, and I was like, man. And then I was looking on the bottom, and I saw like the row, like the aisle, and then the rows of seats, and I was like, damn, if I fall down, like I could really get hurt on one of those seats. So I kind of jumped off right when I knew he didn't want to fight no more because he was already getting choked out. So I kind of jumped off and landed right in between the aisle, and then I got up, and then it was like we were fighting for a long time. So I was like, dude, like cops are gonna come or something. So I ended up like just getting up and taking off. Lost my chanclas, and so I go out there. My friends are like, "Where were you?" and stuff. And when I was fighting with the guy, Sarah was like, "Stop it, stop it!" And then she was like, "Oh," so she knew what was happening. And then so she walked out when we were fighting, and then so I'm out there, and we all get in the car, and they're like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing, just keep going." And so then we're driving. The guy, Chris Menzies, drives right in front of the damn theater to get out. And I'm like, fuck. And so the guys, a bunch of dudes come out, like dudes from Paradise. They're like, hey, fucker. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, so they didn't know what was going on. I don't know. And then the next day, I like go to Butte for one of my drawing classes, or I don't know what class, and this guy Ryan. There were two other brother artist guys from Paradise, and we were cool. I was cool with them and stuff. This was way before Voice or anything, but they were Paradise people. So I ended up like, guy was like, "Oh man, hey, I heard something. You got in a fight or something?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I explained it to him, and like, him and my girlfriend were flirting next to me, so I had to sit 2 hours being pissed off. So I ended up fighting the dude, and then so he's like, "Oh yeah, we didn't really like that guy anyways. He's blah blah blah." So I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if these guys ended up not liking me for 20 years or something. I don't know. So that is so I don't like Spawn no more because that movie pissed me off, and that's my idea of Spawn. So I'm gonna paint over it today, and then hopefully use it for a collage or something later. Reason I'm explaining all this stuff because everybody likes to add drama to my art, so I have to like explain why I'm painting over Spawn, so they don't think I'm trying to hide farm, or you know what I'm saying. So, but the canvas is like homemade canvas, so it's like I don't really care because it's already like I can't really hang it on my wall because it's all messed up. So it's not square, so I'm working on my left arm muscle. So like the guy from Lady in the Water, like you only work out one side of you. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing today. I'll probably try to paint. I'm trying to get my paintings done, get all my canvases ready, and do some art shows in the Bay. So we'll see if that all works out. So actually I'm going to paint the side too. Try not to waste my canvases, especially if they have like, you know, that was a pretty good story, so I didn't think I was going to tell that story, but that's part of your life that's interesting. Try not to show my love handles. Okay, so another one, very important. This one's actually very important. I painted over a few of the paintings. I tried to give a lot of them away. I did an art show in Gilroy, and I feel bad because I took some paintings from some friends that had them hanging up, and then and I was like, "Oh, I need it for art show or whatever," and then they kind of got upset because they were like, "Oh, I thought you gave it to me," and I was like, "No, I just wanted you to hang them. I was just, you know, letting you use them." And so they were just like, "Oh," so I feel bad. I tried to give them back to the people but it didn't work out. So the 3 people I think that had them didn't get anything. They were my good old friends that I never ended up even giving them paintings. But I had all these paintings. I did an art show, and then I had people choose which ones that I wasn't going to use, and you know, older paintings, and then some other ones that were like the End of the World's Frankenstein. I actually painted over. I painted some Nezzy Hill stuff over that. There was another one I never even got a good a picture of it. It was like Don't Drink the Water. It was a painting that I did in astronomy class or astrology class, and it was like the first idea was like, okay, well, the project was if you went to space, what would you use to travel something like some kind of environment, a messed up environment. So I was like, I painted some planet stuff, and then I painted this little octagon spherical thing that was like, okay, and then I made that story episode. There was like 3 or 4 of us that were per group, so I kind of did the project on my own, and at the end, like, there was this really smart aleck guy that was always trying to like do all the, because we had what do you call it, we had the normal lecture class, and then we had a class, a 2-hour class or something during the week about lab. So during the lab, the teacher, she was a really cool teacher, like a lady. She was a blonde lady, kind of younger. It was towards, I don't know when it was, but so when we did the projects, it was like 4 of us, and it was really cute girl. She was like gorgeous. She kind of looked like the girl from Fifth Element, like the redheaded girl. But she was cool, and she was like, so the guy, this other guy, he was kind of brown like me, but he had glasses, kind of buff dude, like short. I didn't look like I do now, but he looked like I like as far as build or whatever. So, but he was like a smart aleck, kind of like like some preppy guy in Harvard or something like. So he was smart. He must have been smart because he was able to do like the math problems like really fast, and like she was a math student too. So they were, so I was like an artist with a bunch of math people, and they were doing. So we would do the project like this, you know, like looking at spectrums and doing you know, pretty doing field work and you know science experiments or whatever, field work, math problem stuff, and so as soon as I like we pulled out the paperwork, the guy would like finish it, like they would like compete, and he would always finish like real quick, like before I even looked at the freaking problem and like kind of even understood what, you know, if it's what the first thing to do on the project. And then these two guys finished it. I'm just like, what the hell? Like, so they would do that to me all the time, every day. And he was showing me up, and I was like, man, this guy. So I kind of just like, one day and the teacher would always know because I would be just copying him, and so she would kind of know. And I was like, man, you know what? I know I could do this. So I had to actually like leave the group one day and then do the whole project. And I was staying there like way late. I was like one of the last people to leave. And but I did it all by myself, and I figured it out, and I learned it. And it was like, okay, well, it's not so difficult. It was just I had to learn it. You know, if I don't know my mind's not into the math, and I don't know the equations or the problems. Like, so anyway, just following the directions on my own. So that was like a big deal to me to be able to do that, and she liked it too. She was like, wow, you know, really good job. She was proud of me. And then we did this project at the end of the semester, and I don't know if they just didn't want to help me or what, but I remember just doing most of it by myself. And I think the girl wrote down some stuff. She ended up reading the paper, and I showed the painting, and I gave the idea that, you know, like, what if, you know, what would be the best spacecraft to travel through this volcanic atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. So she liked it. She thought it was creative. The guy tried to like shoot it down. He didn't. I don't know if he even came up and stood with us like to talk about it. He didn't. So he was just trying to one up me. And so, but we got a good grade. I ended up getting a B- or B+ for that class. I forget. But so I painted over that painting. But I ended up later adding on like an astronaut and some aliens, and they were playing cards, and the guy, there was some like yellow water and basically the aliens tricked the NASA guy, and the guy died. Like, don't drink the water. Kind of like my thing was run on kind of what the natives and the church people did, kind of like giving them poison blankets or whatever. And so I don't know. And one alien was flipping off. So, you know, it was just a funny painting, really. So I ended up painting over it because people were tripping on aliens. So I was like, eh. So I didn't ever got a good picture of it. So I feel bad because I like it now. But it was just a big canvas, so I painted over. I wanted to use the canvases, so that's what I did in Cohasset. So now I'm doing this again because I need to consolidate again and just keep what I'm going to be using, get rid of stuff I don't. So these are the canvases that are already thrashed. This one has a hole in it. This one is one of my first paintings as well, and it has there's a hole in it right there. It says nobody walks anymore. So this is one of the first paintings I did in Eddie Hood's class, and man, I probably shouldn't. It's kind of already, if you can see, it has like manchas on there and everything. So like, let this lady use it. She was the landlord of when we were living up in Thermalito at the High Sierra Apartments or whatever, or Sierra, I don't know what they're called. And then me and Sarah got in a fight, broke up or whatever, and then something, she ended up like having my painting, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna get my painting because I need to do something with it. And she was like, oh, she didn't want to give it back to me. And then finally got it, and it has a hole in it, and I'm like, what? And she was like, oh, well, the kid's throwing it away. I had it in the closet. I'm like, well, you shouldn't even have my painting to begin with. But like, she basically got mad at me for like, oh, you gave me a painting and then you want it back. I'm like, dude, I didn't even give it to you. First of all, that you borrow it. I never said that. And then you have a hole in my painting. Like, why do you even care about it? Right? It's in a closet with a hole. Like, so anyway, so that's this painting. The canvas is messed up, so I'm gonna actually paint on it. I'm gonna put that poem on there. And, kind of sad because my painting, my art teacher really liked it. I liked it. It was one like my third painting, and I did abstract. So I kind of like did something that was different, basically in like a natural art like style. Kind of looks like Picasso colors, but this was before I even really got into Picasso. Like, it wasn't trying to do no Picasso, I guess. So I'm actually going to keep some of it there so that there'll be some reminiscence. Like I said, I'm going abstract, so I'm going to see whatever comes out, like, as far as style. So I do want to cover that up. I'll have to add some stuff on there later. So this is a love poem. Keep that there. That was going to be the name of my art book, so I don't know. I might keep it. I don't know. Or my poetry book. One of my poetry books. So I'm going to keep it kind of messy just because kind of dirty, so I'm going to actually paint over the dirt. So, sides. It's funny because in the class, Eddie Hood's class, a long time ago, he used the old style of using tacks instead of staples, and you know, when I had another art teacher, I only had like one semester with her. She was like, oh, use staples. And so when I have these old ones, they were like interested in like more, like they were like, oh, that's ancient, you know. So it's cool to have these old canvases that are actually like, you know, like that I actually built. I didn't cut the wood or nothing, like they're stuff you buy from Alice or whatever, but like stretching the canvas and everything. Pretty much now I just buy them at Michael's. So it's just like, but people I guess take pride in their canvas making. So here's another one. This one is from San Francisco Art Institute. It's one of the only paintings I did there. Didn't really like it. Actually, I really didn't paint at the school. It was like a, you know, conceptual art school. So it was really more about like conceptual art. So I was there for a year, and all I was doing was just looking at the weird art that didn't make any sense to me, and was thinking, why did I even go to this school? And so I ended up paying like $30,000 for like, but I learned a lot like about the fine art world. Like I really didn't know anything about conceptual art until I went there. Now I understand and appreciate it for the most part. Like I'm not a conceptual artist, but I did think I got the training to help with appreciating like the abstract, not just expressionism, but kind of just categorizing things and be able to understand like what they were trying to do, and you know, it was a lot more reading than it was making art. So I did more film and video work there than I did painting. But I did paint a little bit. I think I painted like 3 paintings and then didn't like any of them. I didn't know what to paint. I was just like they don't. You're not supposed to paint realism. Like you're not supposed to paint anything that looked like anything like meaningful. So I didn't even. There was nothing. So this is one of the only at the end there was one painting that I did do good, and I have it rolled up. And I finally got it, and the guys we had a critique, and one of the guys was like, and the whole group, the same group that was like, oh, like talking down on other art, and was like started accepting what I was doing, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna break it down. So I started breaking it down in my head, and so I finally got it to the place where I understood it, and I was able to make something that I was like, I saw, and they saw, and that was not. I had a breakthrough, and they saw it, and they were all very nice about it, like very like totally 180, like the teacher, everybody was like, oh, yeah. They were like saying all this good stuff, kind of what you would hear at an art show. So I was like, oh, and then I never really continued after that. So I haven't never used it where I got to. So I still stay with realism and everything, because there was still so much stuff I wanted to do with realism, and Picasso even was like, oh, nature, you gotta use. So, but I don't know. So I am interested right now in my later life of trying to see. It's kind of like creating music, but with just sound. It doesn't have no structure, or the structure. It's not for normal people's ears. It's not to make. It's not a song. It's not a song on the radio. It's just noise or some experimental sound. So I'm kind of into that now. Right now, like in my life, it's just like, oh, I want to see. Because the world's changing, and I can't explain it with normal images. Like that's how abstract got created to begin with. So I feel like our society is there again, where when they created the nuclear bomb and all that stuff, like the artist felt like you couldn't express what people felt with normal art. So they said that they created abstraction from that. So I don't know. So kind of there. So anyways, so this is my little, so terrible. Like I can't even look at it. So I'm gonna paint over it. I made the canvases, like, are these things, and it's just cheap square. So here's a neighbor. What's up, man? Hey, can you go around that way? It's funny making these videos because my mom's walking by, and this guy's on. So this guy's gonna be in the video. Say what? Oh, there. Man, these guys are so loud. You can listen to these guys. I'm actually making a video for YouTube. If you want to be on YouTube, you can be on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So it's up to you. So this guy's. It's funny because I told my mom like 2 times. So yeah, so that's what this painting is about. It's funny because I make, they're not in my video, but they're in my video. That's my mom, and I'm Mexican, so we're loud. I'm not really that loud. Sometimes I am. So one of the only paintings I did in San Francisco art school is now the beginning of a new creation. So we shall see what I want to do. Like I said, do what do you call that? Collages. I want to experiment. So it can be abstract. So I have a lot of memorabilia, since I'm cleaning out my storage and everything. I have a lot of memorabilia that I want to use to get rid of. I need to work out before the end of the day too. I got my jogging pants on. So that's pretty much it. Peace.